Hi there, it's Adam from Orchards Estate Agents, looking rather windswept today. This is our first video of the year, and it's 3 things for landlords to know Q1 of 2021. Hope you enjoy. Just a quick heads up for anybody who gets seasick. This is the first walk out that I've had since I broke my ankle in November. So it does at times look like I'm coming from you on a boat. But hope you enjoy anyway. So we've been letting properties now for over 18 years, managed 200 plus locally. And we've not seen legislation changes happening as fast and as thick and as fast as we have over the last 2 years. And this year is looking no different. I'm going to cover 3 topics here. So one is the right to rent and the implications of Brexit on that. The next one is in relation to the ICO and what that means for landlords there. And then the last one is the EICRs. So I'm going to cover these bits here. So we'll start off with the Brexit and the right to rent. So by law, anybody who rents a property in the UK, or rather just lives in a property in the UK, you don't have to be a tenant, you don't have to be on the tenancy agreement. If you become aware of somebody living in a property of yours, whether that be a friend, family member or other, even if it's temporarily, you need to be able to do a right to rent check on them, make sure that they have the right to reside in the UK. That's not new, but the new part is the fact that obviously before, being able to provide proof of residency in EU, EEA or Swiss nationalities was all acceptable, whereas now that's obviously not proving the right to reside in the UK. So this is a criminal offence if you get this wrong. There is no maximum limit to the fine, and it does also mean jail time, or can mean jail time, I should say. Now, it is against the law to let to somebody without the right to reside in the UK. However, it's also against the law to ask somebody of EU, EEA or Swiss nationality to prove that they don't have settled status or the right to live in the UK. So what do? Well, the government's bringing out a new format for how this is going to work, which is coming out in July of this year. But until then, basically you've got to follow the rules as best you can without trying to break the law. Now, we've covered this in more detail in a blog, which I'll put in a link below, and obviously we're on hand if you have any other questions about it. But basically it's finding that fine line between proving that you've checked the right for your tenant to reside in the UK and not broken the law in doing so. So good luck with that. Now, if the new system for checking the right to rent is anything like when they've brought in previous changes to legislation, like when they got rid of you being able to just serve as Section 21, you had to do a prescribed 6A form. That didn't actually come out until after it was law. So the prescribed 6A form wasn't available for people to serve, nor was it available for people to check or get an idea of what it entailed until after the release date. So we're expecting it to be last minute that this information comes available. Now, an important part that I think a lot of landlords overlook is what you do with that data once you have it, and this is point 2, is the ICO. So it's been law for a long time now that a landlord has to be part of the ICO and have a data protection plan in place. But it's only just become more recent that they've actually started enforcing it and fining landlords. So any data that's held on a tenant, you have to be able to prove that you've got a data protection plan in place, that you're part and registered with the ICO as somebody who holds on to information relating to your tenants. Now, The reason that relates to the right to rent is because you have to hold on to that for a minimum of 1 year past the end of their tenancy. But also it's relating to stuff like giving contractors details of tenants' information to get access for works, but also is related to if you throw your laptop away in 6 months' time, how are you going to make sure that somebody doesn't pick it up and end up with referencing details that show tenants' old addresses, has their contact details, date of birth, their ID on there, everything that anybody needs in order to steal an identity. So that's really important. We've put a blog again on our website, which I'll link to below. It's really important to make sure you read that. If required, you become part of the ICO and you have that data protection plan in place. Lastly is just a short reminder, EICRs. Now, this has been going on for quite some time, but by April you need to have a satisfactory EICR in place on your property. Any residential tenancy property needs to have one. A lot of landlords are thinking, well, we'll just leave it to the last minute, that's okay, but because of the amount of landlords that are thinking that, it's not going to be long until April arrives. And when April does arrive, everybody's going to be using the local electrician to be able to get that fixed. So make sure you get your EICR in hand. Make sure you've got your satisfactory certificate well in time, because any that aren't in place by April, it's now illegal for that tenant to be living in that property. It's illegal for you to be renting it out. You cannot renew a tenancy without one. There are so many ramifications to not getting it done, and because of the recent changes with fuse boxes and building regulations around that, even apartments that are 5-6 years old are failing. C2s for consumer units, so they need to get sorted. Again, we've put a blog post about this, but it should be fairly self-explanatory, really. It's the law, get it done. I will leave all these links in the description below, but if you have any other questions about anything in particular, then you can email us, lettings@orchards.co.uk, or me directly, adam@orchards.co.uk, or call us on 01525 402266, and we're happy to answer any questions that you may have in relation to lettings and the legislation and the changes that are forthcoming. So that's the changes for Q1 of 2021. Obviously there's going to be a lot throughout the year, and we'll keep you in contact with any other updates that we have. So we'll speak to you soon. Cheers then, bye.